Beautiful Eltharion chilling up in the sky, looking way too big for his tiny little griffin there, but let's ignore that and focus on this wonderful replay from Tequila Sunset, taking the High Elves into the Warriors of Chaos. He said in his little summary, he always runs into Valkia in this matchup for whatever reason, which I find a bit odd. She does fire damage, and, I mean, not a caster. I don't know. Archaon's just so good. I have a hard time passing him up in any matchup right now, but let's take a look at the build. We've got Eltharion the Grim, front line of Spearman and Silver Guard mixed with archers with light armor, and Lion Chariot as well. Silver Helms in the back, and a Swordmaster already getting blasted by the Soul of Damnation. We've got Valkia here, Lore of Metal Sorcerer, some Chosen. Looks like one Chosen, two Chaos Warriors, front line of Marauders, with some Chaos Knights with Lances. Okay, no Sword and Shield variant, just Lances here. Let's see how they end up doing. We've also got a couple of Reaver Archers here, so we'll get the replay rolling as these Archers, yeah, they're going to get in here, kind of draw these Knights with Lances away. So let's see if we can investigate if the Knights with Lances are able to get any good charges in here, see if they are able to pay for themselves. Generally, I don't, again, someone made a really good comment last time I talked about this. I don't remember. I think it's the fact that their hitboxes, or in terms of where they hit, I should say, is slightly broken, but some nice hammer and anvil. The front line crushing a few units of Marauders pretty decisively. We're going to see a nice final transmutation in response, though, as the Hell Cannon rains in fire there. Yeah, nice. Maybe. I thought I saw a nice final transmutation popping off, but must have got canceled out. Nice something else there. Nice spear slop near, though. That will do a decent amount of damage. A little bit of bombardment from Eltharion also. There's the final transmutation, and unfortunately for the Warriors of Chaos player here, they did actually directly target it onto the Archers, which means as they run back, they're going to pull it off of all these other units. Otherwise, that would have been really nice. Devastating that giant blob. I mean, not overcast, so it doesn't end up losing out a ton of damage, but still, basically just slugging it out at this point. Chaos Knights able to punch through into the second line, get into those Archers. And let's see here. Yeah, it seems like maybe they are overkilling their targets or concentrating, because it seems like when they do an attack animation, they don't do them very often, but when they do, they just kind of stab directly forward. It doesn't seem like they hit multiple targets. I don't know. Anyway, let's focus now on Valkia duking it out with Eltharion. He's going to have to drop himself some heals and pull out of that situation there as Searing Doom comes down on top of the Swordmasters and the Spearmen and such. Silver Helms lending their mass to keep the Chaos Knights trapped in here up against the spears and whatnot. Swordmasters, of course, with their good stats, will even be able to do some good armor-piercing damage to those Knights in melee, as long as they themselves don't take too much damage, which they've already taken a huge amount, down to only a quarter HP, but Swordmasters, of course, will continue to hold out and fight very well, despite the losses. Of course, great leadership and stats, and the fact that Martial Prowess, Martial Mastery now hold on until a unit is below 25% HP, so they're still just barely above for the time being. But, yeah, Eltharion jumping in once again. Valkia rear charges him. Starts massacring his support spears here. And any of those attack animations that don't go until Eltharion is going to be very beneficial for the High Elves, is to try and keep things going here. Balance power starting to turn a little bit as the High Elves are able to stabilize, start to rout some of these units off, get rid of some of these Chaos Knights with Lances. Again, not really impressed with their performance overall. They've been used okay, but less than 500 value on them. Definitely should just always be taking the Sword and Shield variant, and in this particular battle, it would have gone much better for the Warriors of Chaos had they taken just the 3 Sword and Shield variant instead. Also saves you about 300 points. No, it doesn't directly buy you a full unit, but you can certainly use that to maybe upgrade, right? The marks, I believe, for the Sword and Shield Chaos Warriors, or Knights rather, cost about the same as the unmarked Lance variant. We'll have to see, but yeah, there's something about that charge animation there. It just doesn't quite feel right. And they are going to be able to charge in here, do some decent damage to those Archers with light armor, but it's not exactly what you would expect given the cost and sort of tier of the units. They definitely perform well under where they should, for whatever reason. But anyway, Valkia again chasing down Eltharion as he just continues to cycle charge various targets. Griffins are great for supporting and rear charging, hammer and anviling into units, but they are somewhat squishy on their own, especially since they don't have an HP buff like hippogriffs have, so can take damage very, very quickly. You have to be careful about when and where you deploy them, but hopefully that gets changed with Thrones of Decay. I am going to be very upset if Griffin HP does not get buffed, I will admit, but Chariot's still hanging around. Haven't really been highlighting them too much, but they've been just running around doing what they can to, again, use mass to stop knights and also help charge out these warriors and chosen and some of this heavier mass infantry. Speaking of charging out, knights trying to get out and shut down these archers one more time. And again, it's a like kind of low tier archer unit. Granted, they're high elves, they have high elven melee defense, but still just basically taking no damage from that charge as the Chaos Knights get terrified away. Eltharion with a nice rear charge there. Again, keeping him moving, basically using him as an air chariot, more or less, right? That's kind of the paradigm you have to look at it, and especially charging into pockets where you have support and can get back up into the air relatively easily, where you're not going to get surrounded and pinned on the ground. Very much Griffin 101, pretty much always has been since Warhammer 1, to be honest. But anyway, watch some beautiful chariot charges as they get loose. Marauders are trying to get on these archers here as well, but Lion Chariots don't have none of that. Punch on through. Light armor does also give a little bit of extra melee defense as well, so with that light armor, these archers are actually up to 30 melee defense with the martial prowess, so quite good, honestly, for an archer unit of this cost. They'd be able to defend themselves relatively well. Lothern Seaguard obviously be even better, but given these guys are kind of like discount Lothern Seaguard without the anti-large, still pretty decent, certainly, at protecting themselves against lower tier threats like these Marauders, or if there were some Marauder Horsemen. Brought, you know, Warhounds as well. Don't have the best stats in the world. Certainly can swarm down some archers with multiple units, but 1v1 trading that extra armor and melee defense certainly makes a difference. Yeah, the High Elves, Silver Helms, and other units just punishing heavily now. It's pretty much down to just Valkia. As, let's see, let's check in with the Eltharion. Yeah, Jin been chasing some routing units like he should. Fast forward as he closes the distance once again. Doesn't want to take a clean 1v1 fight with Valkia, which definitely makes sense. He's going to fight with support as much as he can. Even though she doesn't count as large, even still, the spears will be nice bodies, just kind of soaking the hits for him. And she does a rout on her leadership there, so fun game. Or well played to both. Definitely a decent job with Eltharion. Like I said, even though he doesn't get an insane amount of value, just the tear routes and the support was certainly helpful in spreading that across the battlefield very effectively. Tequila Sunset did a good job in making sure his units were able to win locally where they needed to. And certainly some of these units very impressive, like Lyrian Reavers getting 900 value, 123 kills. Definitely good job chasing some routing units there. And yeah, Eltharion's Lore of High Magic also it definitely shouldn't be slept on. It's not one of the strongest Lords of Magic in my opinion, but definitely has some good options on offer. Like Hand of Glory there, I think, was being spread all around and helped some of these other High Elf units pay for themselves, but just really good value spread all around their build, to be honest. From the Warriors of Chaos perspective, yeah, Chaos Knights Lances just not where they need to be. Again, I think if you literally just swap this replay out 1-to-1 with the Sword Shield Chaos Knights, they probably, I don't know if they'd necessarily win, but they just do much better. They probably get, you know, like 1,200 value plus a piece. Instead, the top one here is only 1,000. So just generally pretty painful. And we'll check out the costs here actually right now of the units. So you could trade out those lances, again, for the regular undivided sword and shield variant, save a little bit of gold, or let's take a look at the costing here. So it's just 100 gold straight up difference, and I do see already I've got a Knight of Tzeentch here. So you can tell that the marks only cost 100 gold, right? So for the cost of a Knight with Lance, you could easily just take a marked Sword and Shield Knight. Now, Khorne offers some upside of Frenzy, which is great. Gives you a little bit of extra charge bonus, so they can act more like a true shock cavalry. Also gives more melee attack, of course. Flaming damage can be quite useful in a number of different matchups, of course. A little bit of extra armor as well. Of course, Nurgle with the poison. Slaanesh, a little bit of physical resistance, faster speed, and Strider. Tzeentch with the magical damage and barrier. A lot of options there for sure. But, or again, just go undivided, take the extra gold and apply it to another portion of your army. But I'd pretty much never take the lances for any reason right now, and just stick to the Sword and Shield Chaos Knights. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.